Hi and welcome to my channel and to this video. Hopefully this is my first of many where I'll speak on current affairs of our earth and various topics. It will be quite different to what people are used to. With that I have no doubt. But I do hope that you find it interesting, thought-provoking, and that you might possibly come back for more. So I want to talk about America first. America for me is a country that it's steeped in issue, and it always has been because it was created created on the back of murder, and it was a massive mass murder, not just an invasion of sorts that would where people assimilate into culture or mix cultures and stuff like that. This was a removing a destruction of millions of people that had not only lived on this land, but they had loved that land. They had spiritually enriched that land. And once that was taken away, America, they knew what they were doing. You've got to understand that the people who remove natives or spiritual people from land, they know what they're doing. Okay, this is not just about removing people from a landmass and creating space. This is about rebooting that area of Earth. You spiritually take over that land once you remove the spiritual power or the spiritual energy that's there in the first place. So, when you read Benjamin Franklin's The Land of Opportunity, you will understand that first of all, he was a racist. And he knew exactly what he was doing when he wrote that paper and made it very clear that he was unhappy with the brown populations of Europe in 1759. Okay? And America was a place that they believed that they could spread, in his own words, the white skin. So, from then, you'll understand that it is no wonder that we have so many racial problems in America, because that is what it is based on. It is for me, it's like a test center. All of the issues that we see around the world with racism and xenophobic behavior, clashing of religion and cultures and stuff like that, it exists everywhere. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that things are almost tried out, tested on the American public. And I don't know if many Americans can see that, because obviously many of them are living within this conditioning and this treatment. But I'm sure there are many who understand what I'm saying and can see what I'm saying, because it happens in my country, it happens in every single country on earth, I believe, bar maybe a few. And even then I would say that, that this, of course, there are still issues, of course. But what is happening between obviously Trump and Biden right now, it's affecting the rest of the world, as it would, because for me, I feel like the world looks at America as if to say, well, if the shit hits the fan there, it's likely to fuck up the rest of the world. It's likely to affect the rest of the world, and not in a good sense. And from what I've seen, it has. The continued racism, the continued issues between people, and the cultures that exist in America now, it influences what happens in other countries. And although, as I say, racism has existed long before America, what's happening in America is you have someone like Trump that does promote disrespect. He promotes xenophobic behavior, massively so. And unfortunately, it was already in a lot of people. A lot of people already felt that way in the first place because of the conditioning of American governments beforehand. And now, as I would agree with many people who I've heard say it, and I believe it myself also, is that he has given a voice to many people who have wanted to say things to other people because of their skin color, because of where they come from, because of their accents, all of these ridiculous things that should make you feel wonder, should make you inquisitive as a person. It makes them. They've turned it into something that they should fear, and that is crazy. But you have to understand that a lot of these people are susceptible to these things because they haven't educated themselves in the first place. If you've educated yourself on the people of Earth, you've educated yourself from Ethiopians and Abyssinians, Axumites, to Jia of China, of China, to Arakaria of America, to Olmecs of South America, everywhere. When you look at the world, it takes away all of these negative feelings, and American government, I should say, has made sure that these things come at a price. Put simply, they are not something that appears to be very important for a lot of the people that are exhibiting these behaviours, or they just haven't taken the time to learn. I don't know. I can't speak, obviously, for every individual. Of course, I can't. I can only see what's happening. And I heard someone say the other day when he spoke about a lot of the problems with America, and a lot of these people, he said, just don't have anything going for them. They don't have much going on in their lives, and that's not a dig. I think that is a deep truth, because they've had this wonder and this inquisitive behavior that we all seem to have as children and as babies. It's been taken away from them, and instead they've been pushed into a life of negativity, of sadness sometimes, and of loss. They don't have money, yet they see people in America have loads of money. Again, that is across the entire earth. We know that there's rich and there's poor everywhere. We know that for sure. Okay, so as I said, this is not an attack on America. This is an observation for me, what I see happening in America with Trump and Biden. I mean, what can you say? I'm not American. I'm not obviously voting in their system, and I can understand why so many Americans are pissed off, because you have a Democratic Party that has a history of racism, same with Republican, and of course you have someone like Trump who has openly said racist things before in the past. Obviously tries to be a little bit more political about how he says things now, but of course if you look at the history of Donald Trump, you will see that he has said openly racist things before. And for me, I do want to take it deeper. I want people to understand that this isn't just about humans and human nature. This goes a lot deeper for me. And I want to just talk a little bit more about Trump and Biden as not only who they are, but what they are. So if you don't understand, if you're not aware, I should say, that there are a lot of life forms that live on planet Earth. There are animals, there are insects. I say animals, there are mammals, there are insects. Humans. Humans obviously can come under mammals, but obviously a lot of people would see humans or see themselves as different to animals and so on. And there are also souls. People with souls. And now I want to kind of connect the very, very basic physical nature of America with the far deeper and spiritual nature of humans. And so for me, Joe Biden does have a soul. Donald Trump doesn't. And that changes everything about their behaviours. Now with the soul, is that it can be a massive, massive plus for an individual if they can control the behaviours and the nature of their soul. If they can't, someone with a soul can become an incredibly negative and problematic person for people around them. And I witness that on a daily basis, and I will continue to, because it's a thing that exists. It's a part of our reality. But for people that have gained control, who have truly understood to look within themselves and to understand who they are, what they are, not as a human being, but as a genuine individual, as the only one that exists in this dimension the way that they do. And in that respect, that many of us we're alone in that respect. The one thing that we know that we will always have as individuals is the soul, or our personalities and behaviors. And with Donald Trump, he is not a part of that. He is a reptile. Now, reptiles do not have souls. Okay, this is a massive misconception from people that understand a lot about reptilians and humans and believe that the two are almost, just a different version of the same thing. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. They are utterly different. And although that they can behave the same and they can look the same, ultimately what they're born from is two completely different things. Okay, the soul is born from the universe. It's like, if we compare it to something on Earth, it would be rivers, water, life. Water gives life to everything, planets, plants, humans, animals, and so on. Reptiles have come about from that life, from that water, but they were not created initially by the universe. And this is where we're seeing this divide on Earth now, because it's really starting to become apparent. And there are a lot more people starting to understand that reptilians do exist. It's not a joke. It's not something to throw your arms up in the air. Oh my God, he's talking about reptilians. You just have to just calm down. You really do need to calm down. Stop fearing it. Stop running away. If it was that easily dismissed, then and you want to dismiss it, then you can do that. And that's your choice. But there are many people and who should and who are willing to understand exactly who lives on this planet. Okay? And with Trump being a reptilian, he is promoting, so when I say reptilian, I must also point out that being a reptilian does not make you a bad person, does not make you an evil person. No, it doesn't. It does mean that you are born from different things, though. So what I'm saying is to expect a reptilian to behave exactly the same as a human being when put in the same situations in life, the same cultures and so on, and let's just say we could just take two people, lived exactly the same lives, one reptilian, one human. Do not expect the same. The same way you would not expect humans to be the same. The things with, again, the difference between reptilians and humans, of course, is that humans have a connection to the universe that the reptilians don't. And that is sometimes incredibly damning, because what happens with that divide is that what you can say, let's actually talk about Donald Trump and Biden again, because when we're looking at this, when we have that divide, what we're likely to see from Biden is he's going to be unquestionably different to Trump. Not just because he's a different person, but because of the fact that Trump is a reptilian, and a not very nice one at that. And Biden, of course, nowhere near what an idea of a perfect human would be, but so far is showing that he's willing to attempt to be a better person than Trump. And from what I can see, that would be because at his age, he has finally started to come into his soul. And obviously I could be wrong. He could come out and be even worse than Trump for all we know. But at the current time of speaking, his behaviours are someone that has truly understood who he is now. And part of that is the soul. Because sometimes the soul can take over. Sometimes the soul can influence you, as I said, to be a more negative person than you would be without it. So, with Trump, he promoted a lot of negative reptilian behaviors in Americans, whether they were reptilian themselves or humans. And that would be, a lot of that would be division. So, racism, xenophobic behavior, religion, culture, anything basically. You know, for political choices, you see a lot of people saying the left all the time, or they say libtards, or liberals and stuff like that. And that behavior. Now, of course, people have different political choices or natures, right? Of course, we know that. But what happens is that you'll see that people will now judge a person's life, an entire being, on the fact that they stand somewhere politically. And that, of course, is nonsense. Okay, people have all sorts of individual choices that make up their person and their being. So it's very, very poor for people to look at other people and decide that they are separate from them because of one thing that they choose to do in their life, okay? And again, when people try to include everyone, there's an attack on this, and they call this, well, they don't call it anything, they attack what they describe as multiculturalism. And again, what you have to understand with that is that when you look at the ancient world, the real ancient world, not the ancient world that is often taught where everyone was warring and battles all the time, and there was all these issues between this king and this queen and this emperor and this civilization and so on. There was so much unity in the ancient world because there was so much more education and there was so much more intelligence. The intelligence that ancients showed and used to better their civilizations, there's been an attack on that. A massive attack on that. And that comes through the education system. And Donald Trump is someone that... the thing is with Trump, I have no idea if Trump genuinely believes the things that he says, or he's being told what to do anymore. Because I think it's actually moved past that point. I think that Trump's own puppet masters might have actually lost control of him, because what he's actually doing now is he has created a situation where there is no coming back from it. And so the question is, has he created this situation where there, as we see this suggestion of civil war, of races, a war of race, a war of skin color? Do they want this? And that is the question. Do people that behind the government, the very small amount of very powerful people who influence much of what goes on Earth, are they happy for this? And that is, well, it's an open question, and it always will be until we see some real positive changes on Earth. So with Trump and Biden, as I said, I think that they are unfortunately bringing to the surface a lot of things that many people might have thought had kind of, gone away, or at least died down a little bit, and racism being one of them. And boy, has it come to the surface again. And it does, as I said, it does influence in other places. Here where I live, there has been an influx of racist behavior, and people shouldn't really be surprised by this. All eyes are on America, and it's going to happen. So these narratives, as I said, they are they're affecting the rest of Earth, and to be straight to the point, as an individual, you have to keep your eye on them. You really do, and have to understand, as I said, what is happening around you right now. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you for listening.